Have you ever walked through a riverbed or hiked across rocky ground and wondered, what if one of these stones is secretly worth millions? The truth is, most people miss the signs. They walk right past fortune, never realizing that nature often leaves behind a crystal clue, a whisper in the rocks, that could change a person's life forever. Today I'm going to reveal how one single detail, one tiny crystal clue, could mean you're standing on a hidden treasure. And the best part? You don't need fancy tools or expensive equipment. All you need are your eyes, your instincts, and the patience to notice what others ignore. So lean in, because what I'm about to share could make you see every rock, every trail, and every river in a completely different way. You see, gemstones don't just appear polished and sparkling like in jewelry stores. Out in the wild, they are rough, raw, and often dull to the untrained eye. But even in their most natural state, they can't help but reveal themselves. They leave clues, tiny glimmers, unusual shapes, colors that seem too vibrant to belong to ordinary stones. And when you learn how to read those clues, you're no longer just walking, you're hunting. Imagine this. You're walking across a dry riverbank. All around you are ordinary gray pebbles. But suddenly something catches your eye. A shard of deep green that seems to glow against the dull background. At first, it looks like just another stone. But as you pick it up, you feel its weight. Heavier than it looks. Cooler to the touch. And as you tilt it in the sunlight, the green doesn't fade. It deepens. That, right there, could be an emerald. And without realizing it, you may have just held a fortune in your hand. That is the suspense of gem hunting. That's why millions walk past, but only a few ever find. Because the earth speaks in subtle whispers, and only those who know what to look for can hear it. And here's where the crystal clue comes in. The single detail that separates ordinary stones from extraordinary treasures is often hidden in the way they react to light. Most rocks absorb sunlight and remain dull, but a gemstone, it behaves differently. Even in its rawest form, a gemstone catches light in a way that seems unnatural, almost magical. A flash of red in the dirt, a gleam of blue among brown pebbles, or a glassy reflection that seems to blink at you, daring you to pick it up. But don't be fooled. Not every sparkle is a gem. Nature has its decoys, ordinary quartz that tries to mimic amethyst, bits of glass that glint like topaz, river stones polished smooth by water. That's why, to uncover true treasure, you must rely on more than your eyes. You must train your senses. When you find something unusual, hold it, feel it. Gemstones carry a weight their size shouldn't allow. They feel dense, solid, almost heavy for their small form. Their surface, even when rough, often feels cooler and smoother than the surrounding rocks. That's your second clue. Now let me take you into the wild for a moment. Imagine standing at the bend of a river. The water slows, depositing pebbles and stones along the curve. Here in this natural trap, heavy gemstones settle while lighter stones are carried away. You crouch down, scanning the gravel. Everything looks ordinary until you see it. A dull red lump coated in brown. Nothing special at first glance, but when you break away just a bit of the crust, a fiery glow emerges. A garnet, a stone that, polished and cut, could burn with a brilliance worth thousands. This is the reality of gemstone hunting, and the suspense builds because at any moment, with a single glance, your life could change. One clue, one stone, one discovery. But here's where most people fail. They expect gemstones to announce themselves, bright, shiny, flawless. They imagine finding a glittering diamond just sitting on the ground, begging to be picked up. But that's not how nature works. Real gems often look dirty, cloudy, or rough. They disguise themselves as ordinary until someone patient enough uncovers their secret. And that's why most people walk right past them. Now, I want you to think about this carefully. You may have already walked over gems in your lifetime, on a trail, in your backyard, alongside a river. And you never knew, because you didn't recognize the clues. That's the haunting truth. Every step might have been over treasure. One of the most remarkable things about gemstones is their shapes. While ordinary stones are random and uneven, crystals grow in patterns. Quartz often forms six-sided columns. Garnets grow like tiny geometric balls. Diamonds favor sharp, cubic edges. So when you see a rock that looks strangely symmetrical, almost too perfect, stop. Look closer. That's not chance. That's nature leaving a crystal clue that could mean fortune. And let's not forget the legends. The real stories of people who found wealth because they paid attention. A farmer in North Carolina once uncovered a giant emerald while plowing his field. He thought it was just a green rock until it was valued in the millions. In Australia, a man stumbled upon an opal so brilliant it was nicknamed the Halley's Comet Opal. He wasn't even searching for treasure. He just noticed something unusual. And countless times in Africa, children have picked up cloudy stones, only for experts to reveal they were raw diamonds worth small fortunes. These stories aren't myths. They are proof. Proof that the earth is constantly offering us fortune, hidden in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to see. And the suspense is this. Every single one of us has probably walked past that fortune. Maybe you did yesterday. Maybe you will tomorrow, unless you start to notice. And the next time you're out in nature, remember this. The first sign, the one crystal clue, is light. If a stone catches light in an unusual way, stop, pick it up, study it, because that small clue could mean you're holding something priceless. But here's the real twist. Spotting is only half the story. The suspense doesn't end when you pick up the stone. In fact, it only begins. Because how do you know if it's real? How do you know if what you're holding is worthless quartz or $1 million sapphire? How do you test it without equipment? And how do you make sure you don't throw away treasure by mistake? That's where things get truly exciting. When you finally hold that strange stone in your hand, the real test begins. And here's the secret. You don't need machines to uncover the truth. Nature itself gives you everything you need. Run the stone across a piece of glass. Does it scratch or does it crumble? A real gem will often mark the glass. Hold it up to the sun. Does the color deepen or does it fade away like ordinary glass? And never forget the weight. Gems feel heavier than their size should allow. If your stone passes these simple clues, you may be holding something extraordinary. Most people will never notice. They'll walk over fortune every single day. But now you know the signs. And if you want more secrets that could change the way you see every stone, subscribe to Pro Gems, where every video brings you closer to your next discovery.